Hey guys, welcome to Alicyn's Wonderland, the show that takes you inside the world of animation and games. You're watching Alicyn's Wonderland, inside the world of animation and games. Hey, what if I were to tell you that the stars of Nickelodeon's Big Nate are actually real life best friends? Woo! Please welcome, I was going to say Nate Wright. Please welcome Ben Giroux and Arnie Pantoja.
Hey!
Did I
You
get
were
it
so
right?
close. It was Pantoja, but hey,
Pantoja.
honestly, even I struggle with that.
Yeah,
So
that's fair.
Pantoja, Arnie. I asked him right before this how to pronounce his name.
it's tough. It is really hard. Yeah.
We
Yeah,
were
I love
joking
it, though.
before we started recording that actually our showrunner mispronounced our names for the first year and a half. So you're not alone.
Oh, yes, actually, Mitch Watson's your
Which who was
showrunner,
on
right?
your podcast,
He
right?
was on the show for season
Mitch
1.
was on here.
Actually, funny story. Mitch was on the show in Wonderland's Incarnation, where it was just an audio podcast circa 2010, I think, 2011.
Well, he did a
I
recent.
interviewed him in a bar.
Really?
Yes, and
then
a
recently
recent
was
one.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
And now he's
IGTV.
banned?
Now,
Uh,
we don't talk about
Talk about Mitch.
We don't
All about Mitch.
We
We don't talk about Mitch.
I like that you added some vocal percussion there.
Yeah, you got it,
We're
dude.
thinking of starting an a cappella group.
Yeah.
Really?
This
Are
is
you
something.
auditioning?
yes, we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mitch. Wait, do I have to stay on course with anything? Because that's very difficult.
Well,
for me.
typically in a podcast, they ask you questions.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot!
This is-
if you'd like to interview Alicyn, that's
We're-
totally acceptable.
No, I was
We're in the intro section, so this is free to.
this is free,
We're
this is-
free to freewheeling.
I was going to tell you what blows my mind about Mitch Watson.
Tell me.
I gave him the biggest compliment that I ever give anybody, and I asked him what his favorite book was, and it's Geek Love. And it's awesome. It's written by this like amazing female writer, and it's
Yes.
very weird. And it made me realize that that's what he is. It's this guy who has a family of freaks, and he gathers these freaks, and he's the ringleader with all these freaks.
Not an actual
Yeah.
family. You're not calling his
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
family free.
His wife- his wife's rolling
Yeah. Mitch's family is lovely. No, but like I was like, I told him one day, I'm like, I get it now. You gather all these freaks, and you keep all these weirdos with you, and you just let them do what they do.
He's
Yeah.
truly the greatest voice director we've ever
Well,
worked with. I mean, we could go into
when
it,
Mitch
but-
was on the show, he was talking a little bit about a show he was working on and how amazing the two leads were, and that they were best friends and writing partners, and that they improvise and would just riff and riff and riff. And I think, as a voice actor, a lot of us don't realize, or it depends on the situation, really, how much room for improvisation you have. But it was so cool to hear that. And having worked with Ben before, doing some coaching and stuff, it's like, the more permission you give yourself to have fun with it, the more fun it becomes. Hence, the more fun it is to watch. Cartoons come alive when we can play.
Yeah, I would say like on our show, which we've now been recording for 2 years.
Wow. And you can finally talk about it.
I know.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
I would say like a good, I don't know, 10% of it feels improvised. Now, how much of that they ultimately use is
Mhm.
up to them in post.
Oh
but-
yeah, I get a lot of no's.
Yeah, a lot. But I give a lot of credit to our showrunner Mitch for saying, hey, you have the freedom to explore, to riff. He will let us know when we riff too much, when we throw stuff out. But that's how Arnie and I have built our partnership, is yes-anding
Yeah.
everything. And that is certainly reflected on the show.
Yes.
I agree. And I like, it's interesting because I often tell people, I'm like, the most difficult part about improvising is knowing when not to improvise. And that's, if you don't know, then it's actually going to, it'll really stand out. If you're going to change their lines, it better be funny,
Yeah.
or else it'll stand out. And
Oh, yeah. You mean on a scripted show?
on a scripted show. And but the thing like about like having fun, like you're saying, like up there, and like it really just shines when you're when I was 6, I said out loud that I was like, I want to be like on a cartoon one day. Only took 30 years to get there.
baby.
Dreams do come true.
But like I truly, when I told Ben, like I truly am mostly just doing performance for myself. Like are you all like this where you've always done weird voices and they gain control of you almost? No, that sounds crazy.
I
Huh?
think you're
How you
having
just
a-
looked at me right now made me feel
I
like
think
a-
you're having an emergency medical condition. that
You guys don't have that.
you
Varying
need
degrees
it.
of control. I need some clarification on those terms.
Well, like I used to like date a girl, and this
Mm-hmm.
one voice would come out called Monster,
Oh, you don't
Tell me more.
and Monster would say really mean things, and it was funny. But I like would be, and I would have no control of it. Recently, she made me do it, and I'm like, she's like, what's monster have to say? And I'm like, I don't want to. And she's like, dude, I'm like, well, it makes sense that you're 40 and you live alone. And it's funny and they'll laugh, but I'm like, I think that's rude and I'm sorry. But it takes control.
I like that you're disassociating.
You know what?
from the
I
characters.
can relate to that. I have this character, Love Monster, who's like just the sweetest, most aggressive. Love Monster, love you so much. I hug you till I crush your bones. You know, like, oh, just that urge inside you to just love something to smithereens.
Oh my God.
So, yes, and.
Yes, and. But yeah, that's literally what we do on the show. We, we just lob crazy things out there. I don't know if you do this, but when I break down my Big Nate scripts, I'll literally sort of isolate areas in the script where I want to riff, where we want to sort of organically do some improv. We'll write alt lines, but like Arnie said, it better be better than the amazing joke that's already written because we have an amazing writer's room.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not. Sometimes, like you said, just honoring the page is the best course of action
if it's
because
funny.
already amazing.
Yeah.
So how long have you guys known each other? When did you meet?
You want to explain?
Should we like that?
Yeah.
Ben and I met.
Take me back.
We met, I feel like it's like 12 years now.
Did you meet back in the 90s?
Back in the 90s. Dude, that song.
I know. We met in a commercial casting office.
Dude, did your voice just crack?
Well, I'm remembering the memory now.
Yeah, actually, it makes sense.
Yeah.
We met, it was a callback in between Ben and I for, I think, some sort of cell phone.
Alltel Wireless.
Alltel Wireless. And the gag in it is that Ben and I are smaller. No, you know what? I'm tiny and I'm proud of it.
Yeah. Team Tiny.
Team Tiny.
Team Tiny.
But-
Team Tiny.
For,
5'2",
5'4".
5'2".
But Ben and I
Somewhere
had
everywhere.
to, in the callback, be strapped to large men's chests and baby
So we met in this casting lobby where we're in these baby
legs
Bjorns
dangling.
going, oh, hey, man.
Models. Literally, they're having like a model
They
casting.
were casting supermodels at the same time.
I've told Ben my biggest regret was that when they were walking me through the lobby on this large man's chest, and there's this beautiful girl sitting here, I wish I would have been like, stop. Will you ever go on a date with me? Because that would have been confidence.
Oh,
man.
yeah. In fact, that's actually how I booked the role. So I booked the job.
He asked the
I-
director out.
I did. I asked the director out, and we're now married. No, the director goes,
no, they're divorced.
Yeah. The director goes, hey, how you doing? I go, typical Wednesday. Because I was strapped to an NFL player. Long and short of it is, Arnie and I talked after the fact. He called to congratulate me on booking the role, and I
wow.
congratulated him on not.
The spot was great.
Were you typecast?
Well, yeah,
As a baby,
as a man baby.
Adult man baby.
Well, it's not the only man baby I've played. So yeah, we met in Baby Bjorns.
Wow. You guys go way back.
We did.
Yeah, in like a painful way back. I think there was a moment where we're just like, hey, I get what you go through, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, did you do an elf casting like this week?
I own 3 pairs of elf stuff.
Yeah. I work in Santa's workshop. I'm method.
Yeah. We've played many Christmas elves, but I will say, when we first just started to hang out, we realized we had a similar point of view. We had a
Mhm.
similar sort of improvisational yes and vibe about comedy, about improv, sort of similar sort of worldview as 2 short guys. And we, I think originally, and maybe you would agree with this, maybe you wouldn't, I think we first viewed ourselves as actors who happen to write,
Mhm.
and now we view ourselves as writers who happen to also be actors separately. And I think that sort of shift has allowed us to really create an interesting portfolio of writing stuff that removes our actor ego from it.
Now, as a writing duo, you guys have a lot of projects in the pipeline, in development, just tons of different projects on your website that all seem amazing. Can you talk a little bit about how long you guys have been working together and what you're currently working on?
Can I start this off, Jam? Because I need to. If you don't know Ben, I literally today told him this. I had a shower thought, and I was like,
He thinks of me in the shower often.
oh, hey, actually, I legitimately do. Yeah, which is weird. I mean, yeah,
It's real strange. It's real strange.
Okay.
But I had the shower thought where I was like, who said that saying where it's like you have to work your hardest if you ever give if you ever take a break or whatever, there's someone out there working 10 times harder than you at your own goal. And I realized in the shower, I'm like, and I made that person my writing partner. Like,
yeah.
Ben is, I've always told him, I'm like, if you were a robot, I would really believe it. Like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah, wait.
Wind him up. Wind him up.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He's a wind up one.
Thank you
Yo,
so much
he's a
for
steampunk robot.
The compliment. I appreciate it. I run on steam.
Yeah, I love that. A picture of your head and your ears going.
I'm a tea kettle.
Yeah.
No, that's very sweet of you
Short
to
and
say.
stout.
Yes, you are.
But I also,
Oh, tea kettle.
Sponsored by tea.
Tea.
Yeah. God, this vodka's strong.
I'm sloshed.
Whiskey
Joking.
in here.
But no, I think you actually are cut from a similar cloth as us in that you hustle. You make here we are doing your podcast. You hustle to create things. That's where I think you and I really connected on. You have to sort of carve your own path in this industry. So Arnie and I formed this great, prolific writing partnership where we started writing single camera comedies. We have original animated series we're pitching now.
Mm-hmm.
We've written a feature. We were showrunners of a CW comedy pilot that almost went right before the pandemic.
Was that the stand-ins?
No,
Oh,
that's
that project
something
looks
else.
amazing.
That's something else. That's called Shortcomings.
We will do that one day.
I
Yeah.
want to see
It's a
that.
show about two short guys who are stand-ins
You
for children.
probably
on
need a
kids'
child
TV show.
girl, right? You need a
right,
short girl.
right. With pink streaks? No?
But yeah, I think we pride ourselves on having a really diverse portfolio of stuff that is ever expanding. You know, our goal is to, be showrunners.
Hey,
It's
and to
happening.
keep creating.
Yeah.
Like, there's not, I don't know if you're like this, there's not an end goal for us. We're just doing it. That's the fun about it, about creating and like to love it. And going actually completely off topic, have you guys ever experienced this to where
What's the deal with
what's the deal? Llamas, am I right?
llamas? All right, continue. Sorry.
No, it's that like,
Llamas.
it kills me that when I started doing voiceover, I felt like I'm like, dude, I can't wait to see all the different roles. Like now I'm not gonna get typecast. And then it's like, hey, we got a bunch of elf roles for you, and like the weird. And I'm like, what? Like, how have you guys experienced that as well? That like you get the same auditions that you would for on camera in voiceover?
Well, yes, I definitely started getting this was early on. I started getting leprechaun roles sent
Oh my
to me. And I was like,
gosh.
I mean, okay, I'll do it,
But
but like, it just doesn't feel like it has to be that, right? Well, I
Yeah.
think that's one of the things I actually appreciate about animation and
Yeah.
voiceover is it widens the net of things that you're applicable for. Case in point, we're playing sixth graders on TV. I think we're slightly unable to play sixth graders on camera now.
Hey,
well,
Speak for yourself.
yeah, dude. Don't limit me
Depends.
and my talent. I am a character actor.
just gotta shave.
Shave.
the-
No.
No,
Who's that
I'm
child?
a
with
hairy
the-
sixth
Harry sixth grader. Yeah. Well, how do you think that your relationship in real life is reflected on the show?
Oh my god, that's like
I mean,
it's actually I was thinking about this the other day. It's almost hard to see where we begin and
Yeah.
it ends. Like
that's not just for us. I think all the characters on the show, right?
it's really bizarre of how actually like dead on the characters are. I mean, Ben drew all of his life and like the care and
Wow.
Ben-
I didn't know that.
like he orchestrates these crazy huge like events
Schemes.
yeah, and schemes and like I'm so excited because I'm Mexican and on
Mhm.
camera they don't let me play it because like I look super white, but like I say this, I'm like, they allowed me to be Mexican on it too, and like
It's been really cool. I'll brag about Arnie for a second. He has such pride
Mhm.
in his Mexican heritage, and this is one. We actually have a show that we're pitching about that. And to get to play a Mexican character, it was euphoric. And he actually found out he got the role of Teddy before I found out about Nate. We were just celebrating that, and so the icing on the cake was to get cast on the show together. And like Arnie said, I used to doodle, I used to draw. That's what Nate does on the show. So we're just playing elevated versions of ourselves. I would also say the thing that makes our show, I think, special and magical is that the performances are fairly grounded, particularly for a kids show.
yeah.
They get a little wackier as you get to some of the ancillary characters, but I think the core four are playing it pretty grounded.
And I can't express how much fun we're
Yeah.
having. That you can hear it. Like, I mean, there's I've literally cried, laughed in 2 different sessions.
Have too.
And it's like it is
Amazing.
it literally is everything I imagined as a kid.
Mhm.
It's the rarely am I a part of something where I'm like, oh, how? Like, I shouldn't let them know that I would do this for free.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Don't tell them. We have to pay our
Yeah,
bills.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys audition together? Is that how you both wound up on the same show?
Well, I went in first, and Ben, I knew Ben was coming in, and like I just started messing around. Like I had a line in the script. The line was written like, a bully, you're about to be Gunther, or the bully's about to pick on you, and I'm like telling him like, hey, don't worry, man. I'm like, I got your back, and that was the line. But I just kind of kept going. I'm like, I got your back, and like by your back, I mean I got your back when you die, which is a joke because I would totally go for your shoes. And like we're like sitting here just messing around, and the director Mitch came out afterwards. And he's like, do you normally improvise? And I'm like, yeah, that's what my writing partner and I do. And he's coming in like 20 minutes. And yeah, it just felt like it was meant to be.
Yeah, goosebumps. You got the
Yeah.
you got the goosebumps.
And similarly, we teed each other up. I was like, hey, I heard you just met my writing partner. I riffed too. Actually, I had a subsequent callback after that. And I pretty much abandoned the script. I just riffed as Nate.
Wow.
But that's because we sort of read the room that improv was going to be encouraged on the show. Certainly you don't want to do that with everything, but by and large, I think in my career, I think you would feel the same. I've never really booked a role that hasn't involved some level of improv. I find that
I think that's just what I bring is like but I like to do I like to honor it and do what is written, but like I mean, if we got that and you guys are gonna like be stupid enough to say Arnie can play, then I'm never gonna stop. I will keep going.
It's awesome. And your role in particular on the show is the jokes, is the punchline guy. So I mean, he'll just have a list and rattle them off when it gets to it's
I sit here, Ben and I've talked about this because he has so many lines. And he'll have like 80 and I'll have like 12. And it is so entertaining to me because I'm like, hey, Ben, I'm having a great time. I take little breaks. I go to the bathroom. Like
we're all recording from home.
Yeah. And Ben just sweating in his closet. Like,
and it's funny. We had we can't give anything away because it hasn't aired yet, but there is a more Teddy-centered episode. And we kind of flipped for that episode where Arnie had the real heavy lifting to do in the episode, and I got to kind of kick back, put my feet up, say a couple things here and there. And after the session, we always have a phone call after the session just to sort of talk how it went.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, now you know how it feels, sucker.
Wow. Jeez, guys, I gotta be honest. I'm feeling a little jelly of your relationship.
Jelly?
Hey, internet, where's my Arnie?
Aww.
Where's my Arnie? I need my bestie writing partner person.
You know what I would say? I think both of us went through other writing partners before we landed on our partnership. And originally it was supposed to be, hey, we're just going to work on this one project together.
Yeah.
But then it worked so well. The difference that I would say about our writing partnership that I haven't felt in other partnerships before is I was excited. Every time, even now, I am eager to get together, to create, to laugh, to mess with each other. It's always a joy. And that's when you know it's the right kind of creative partnership because you want to do it.
Yeah. It's tricky with like writing partnerships. And like, I think it's really tough because like, you just got to know like with your writing partnership, you write with everyone that they have written before with in the past. And you
talk more about
that. That's a bad STD joke.
I liked it.
Yeah. Did you? Talk more about that.
He was writing partner protection. There's mutual respect. There's no ego between us. We have this phrase where we say best joke wins. So it's not like you're looking back through a script going like, oh, well, Arnie wrote that one and I wrote that one. It's like, there's none of that.
That's not the point. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
a collaboration.
Even when we pitch our shows, when we're in a pitch meeting, maybe sometimes he speaks more, maybe sometimes I speak more. It doesn't really matter. The whole goal is in the end product, this mutual level of trust. And I mean, that's really what comedy's built on is trust. And
hey, I think that is though the secret sauce is the we want the best for each other.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, genuinely, like we'll go out for things and Ben will book up like, yeah, like no jealousy whatsoever. And like, but I think that's like the core of creativity comes from being comfortable, knowing whenever we go into pitches, we always say, hey man, I got your back. And no matter what, I'm like, hey Ben, you can just go nuts in this. And I'll be like, hey dude, I'm supporting it. Ben's running around with his shirt off and I'll be like, nice work, dude. We might have to talk afterwards.
Probably shouldn't have done that. But,
Yeah, but hey man, it was adventurous. I respect you.
Yeah.
You guys are soulmates.
The executive vomited because of what you did, but you know what? I have your back.
But it could have been an excited vomit.
Yeah, it was projectile, so it was done with force.
So it was done with force. Does that make it better for you?
Yeah, it was. It was a commitment to the vomit.
Commitment. Technicolor young. So have you guys had the opportunity to see how Big Nate is affecting kids or hear any feedback from some of the fans that are watching?
I haven't. Have you? I'm dying to hear something.
Any
Yeah.
family members or anything?
I would say like certainly on TikTok. I know you do TikTok. That's been sort of a pretty integral to all the things that I do lately. A lot of great feedback for the show. We're actually about to go do, which I'm really excited about, a reading at a school.
I'm so excited
with
for that.
the rest of the cast. So that'll be kind of cool to see.
What school?
Do you remember?
I don't know.
A school?
Nice.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me as long as it's...
the key to comedy is specificity.
Yeah. Something
school.
like that.
Yeah. it is.
You're right.
No, but I think the feedback's been great. We were told, I think we could say this now, it at least for the first month was the #1 show on Paramount Plus. They just announced they've picked us up for season 2. So
Wow.
I hope it goes
guys,
forever.
Congrats.
Not-
I hope
Thank
it goes
you.
forever too.
knock on all the tea, Kat.
Oh,
see? Jeez. And Nickelodeon has also picked up your cartoon voice battles.
Yes, yeah. This was a cool thing that you did one with me,
I
didn't you?
did do
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
as Josh. No, Josh.
That's
as
right.
Josh. From
That's
Rugrats.
right, from Rugrats.
Yeah.
So over the pandemic, when we were all stuck in our living rooms, I started challenging voice actors for us to try each other's voices on TikTok. Really a great way to sort of promote the voice community, the voiceover community, the animation community, highlight people's work, and, just to stay creative during the pandemic. And Nickelodeon's been really great about working with me and us on our, just sort of building that relationship, developing different ideas. The social media team's been awesome. They just made it. I'm still going to do my own cartoon voice battles, but we've created.
You will on TikTok. You
Yep.
still do this. Okay.
Nickelodeon cartoon voice battle, which will be on all of Nick's social channels. We just had our first shoot the other day. E.G.
Looks so
Daly, Rob Paulson, Carlos Alazraqui, Great Alive. I mean, it was an awesome.
And what all
roster of
characters
people.
did they play? Just to throw it out. For...
Tommy Pickles and Rocco from Rocco's Modern Life and Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender and Donatello from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
people we grew up on. That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a real humbling pleasure for me to bring that idea over to Nick, to host it, and to, be able to riff with literally the biggest Nickelodeon legends. So excited to see where it goes, and just, again, really grateful that Nickelodeon's been open to our crazy ideas.
Where can our fans catch it?
That'll be on Nickelodeon's TikTok, Instagram, all their social
YouTube,
media stuff
maybe,
soon.
too?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to come about if you put it out there, huh?
Well, I mean, case in point, here we are sitting in your set for your podcast.
The little set that we have
which
here.
used
It's
to be
beautiful.
an Instagram live
Yep.
thing. So I think it's a great testament to when you put stuff out there and you try things and you experiment and you create, it's you're just constantly, notching yourself up those ladder rungs.
Yeah.
And you never know where it's going to lead. So
It's a law of physics. An object in motion stays in motion. From creation comes creation. And if you don't believe it, just try it and you'll be shocked. It might not happen right away, but there's stuff that I did for free 7 years ago, and then they reach out and
oh yeah,
it turns into a great job. Like, you just got to guard yourself and value yourself. But like,
Yeah.
I think I do this because I like to create. I have no desire to be famous or any of that. I'd like to explore these characters. I'd like to connect with people, and I'd like to work with people like Nickelodeon that, like, I don't know if you saw their anthem to children, but it's like every kid has the right to like to like their own opinion, and they all deserve to like they know that they're respected, and like all these amazing things. And I'm like, man, it's so wild when your work aligns with like your
core
like,
beliefs,
your core beliefs. Like it's not weird. It's amazing when it
I
happens.
100%
Great
agree.
point.
I grew up on Nick and like watching Rugrats and being
Doug
like
and
the pilot and Doug
Ren and
and
Stimpy.
you know, and being like, we're so edgy. We're watching Nickelodeon. Kids are getting slimed and like.
I'm glad you're saying that because they're going back to that. Like
That's
it's like
certainly our show.
in our show in
Yeah.
a very fun way. It's edgy, but it's very real. They're not talking down to kids. It's stuff that kids really experience.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, that must have been huge for you when you found out, hey, grew up watching Rugrats. Now you're on it.
I know.
It's a big deal.
It's a trip. It's definitely a trip. It's definitely a dream come true.
Yeah. That's
You
how we
know?
feel about Big Nate. Like,
Yeah.
Grew up
Yeah.
watching Doug and Rugrats and Ren and Stimpy, and now to have our own Nicktoon is amazing.
And Big Nate was actually based on the book series and comic. And were you guys fans of had you heard of Big Nate? Did you read it growing
you?
up or anything?
You know, I didn't because it was like a generation, I think, right before us.
Mhm.
But my friend's a teacher, and I was telling her about it. I'm like, yeah, it's this show, Big Nate. And she laughed at me. And I'm like, what? And she's like, oh, it's as if like 30 years ago, you're like, I'm doing this movie called Harry Potter. And she's like, yeah, I know Big Nate. It's huge, dude.
Yeah, I think we are at the age group that we kind of missed it. So I think it's been a lot of fun for us to sort of retroactively go back and realize the existing sort of global fan base for beloved characters.
Yeah.
It's been really cool to, go back and dive into the comic strip and the book series. And I actually just read one of the books to, I don't know if I told you this. I read one of the books to
Oh, really?
He usually tells me every book he reads.
God.
I got on a Zoom with a
That's
bunch of
cute.
children's hospitals and read
What?
the first Big Nate book to them. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool experience.
Amazing.
That's
But
amazing.
many of them knew the characters were aware of the book. So yeah, I think that there's an extra responsibility
Yeah.
to playing characters that people already know, but also kind of opening up to folks that might not know Big Nate and sort of creating a new generation of fans for it. So it's sort of a
But that's some of the special sauce of the show because we have Lincoln. You know what? You corrected me with his name, Lincoln Purse.
Mhm.
We had Lincoln Purse, who's the creator of Big Nate,
Mhm.
and he sat in on our first few sessions. That was kind of intimidating because it really does feel like it's like, oh, am I going to get fired today?
Yeah.
Like I hope he thinks this is funny.
Yeah.
Like but like
Arnie, we have to talk to you about
Yeah.
something.
I'm
Yeah.
already leaving,
So
guys.
he-
Yeah, I
Thank you
know
for the
it.
opportunity.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No, but like he basically is our quality control to like put his stamp of approval that,
Yeah.
and it's really cool because they stay very true to the show, but
Mhm.
still like explore creatively outside of the box.
Yeah. That's
Love it.
amazing.
All of our episodes are based off of characters and locations and relationships that are in the comic strip and the books, but they're completely new storylines. And so I think there's something for everybody in it. It's interesting. There's a subreddit about Big Nate that has existed for a long time. And I think they were a little critical of the idea of the show before it launched.
But wait, people on the internet are always so friendly.
I know. It's strange that someone would be critical on the internet.
Okay.
But it's so interesting because once the show came out, the feedback was like, oh, this is kind of funny. I like this.
The
Yeah.
show's awesome.
Yeah.
If you don't like the show, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But not really. That's a joke.
I would say there's something objective. I try to be as objective as possible. I think we've both been parts of things before where you're happy to have a job,
Yeah.
but you look at it and go like, I don't know if I want to tell my friends about this. This is probably the first thing I've ever done where I'm like, I am forget the fact for a second, put aside the fact that I'm the lead role.
Yeah.
But I think it's so funny and so good that I want everyone I know to see it because I'm just proud of the work that everyone's done, particularly in a pandemic.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I don't know if the pandemic got like to anyone else like mentally. Like
I wasn't aware.
No, were you not? Yeah.
What's
I was
going on?
yeah. That whole year alone was
Yeah.
was fun. No, but like it was really a bright light, I think for everyone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
To be going into your closet and be laughing. It was also bizarre because literally I've dreamed of this since I was 6.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, it's all coming true in this really crappy, hot, tiny closet, huh?
Alone, but not
Yeah,
alone.
It's
I know.
beautiful. Like,
well, and Rich insisted you guys would do group records. Is that right?
yes.
which
wanna
a
speak to
lot
that?
of
You
shows,
wanna go for that?
especially
Sure.
during the pandemic, are not.
Yeah,
doing a
I
good
mean,
thing.
I think our show might have been the first of its kind because we immediately, we booked this role as soon as the pandemic began, these roles. And so I think that the show is made by the fact that we still do ensemble records. We get on a Zoom once a week. Sometimes there's as many as 12 actors. There's Mitch, our showrunner. There's our recording engineer, Ryan Green, who's a godsend and has been so instrumental in us like setting up all of our individual recording spaces.
Patience of a saint.
And look, Zoom has its hiccups and its problems and its glitches, but we're sort of used to those glitches now. And so being able to look in each other's eyes in a Zoom window and actively riff and improv with each other, I think has made our show special. Instead of just doing a solo recording session with a recording engineer and then cutting it together after the fact.
You can see it. You can really hear and see a difference. I mean, it affects the performance 100%. Also, I just want to point out, I love how intense you were about looking in the eyes. It makes me feel like you're like a weird actor that's like, you have to maintain constant eye contact with Ben.
Don't toast me unless you're looking right at me.
I can only act as Big Nate when I'm staring at you. Only on Nick. 8/7 Central.
Also in the eyes, but you really mean their forehead or some nebulous area of like Zoom.
But you know what's
Just left
interesting?
of center.
I would say like at first we were all really missing, and we certainly do still miss being all in person in a recording studio at Nickelodeon, which has this wonderful, it's such a great environment. However, I will say when you're recording in a studio at Nickelodeon or anywhere else as an ensemble, as the actors, you are typically in your little recording pod and you're facing the studio, a glass pane where you're looking back and seeing the director or the writers and the engineers, and you can't see each other. I will say, by doing it all remote and still as an ensemble, being able to see each other is kind of cool.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's kind of cool.
It's the magic.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. And it's so good that you have each other to like be able to keep you anchored in that magic so that you, when you're performing, you can be so fully present in the moment.
Yeah.
We
That's
also,
when the funny comes.
we created a little Discord chat server for
nice.
just the cast.
Uh-huh.
And so sometimes we'll be able to like, in the midst of a record, it's great to have a side conversation going where I can be like, hey, Arnie, give me some space before line 24 so I can lob you something. Or, hey, I got an idea for blah, blah, blah. It's just kind of a cool way for us
Arnie,
to...
give me some space.
Just give me some space.
Just overall. It's getting too controlling.
Arnie, log off.
No, but I love you, Ben.
Log
No,
off.
no, I don't want to.
Get
You
the
knock
hell
off
out of here.
first.
Get out of here.
No, you said you wouldn't do this. Sorry.
Oh, it has been so amazing chatting with you guys today. I'm so grateful that you came on the show to talk about Big Nate and everything else you have going on. I'm so excited for your future. Where can people find you online if they want?
Arnie, where can people find you online?
Hey, I don't know the answer to that 100%. I don't really have a social media presence, but, you can find me online under Google.
Under Google.
Is Google
Do
still
you have
a
a
thing?
website? Where do they address the fan mail to?
You
Your
know
agent?
what? I don't.
Wow.
And I have people very upset with me, but like, I
doing
really
all right.
just enjoy
I
doing
think
this.
Arnie is probably the most successful voice actor that doesn't really have a presence online. Voice of Konosuba
Oh,
Yes, we didn't even get to.
on
Wow.
Trolls.
Reno from Reno was a guy like from Final Fantasy, and it was the first time I got to play someone cool.
Yeah. Rick,
Typecast again.
No.
he's been on Rick and
man.
Morty. I mean,
Wow.
Ben and I are on Rick and Morty, and we got
but massive, massive credits.
Mhm.
And so kudos to Arnie for saying, I'm not
That's
into it.
amazing.
Uh,
I guess they can always send your fan mail to Ben.
We like to joke that Arnie's presence on social media is via
Ben.
my
No, there's so
social
many
media.
things that are Ben. Like the weirdest thing is when we write too. I don't do this with anyone else. It makes me kind of uncomfortable that this naturally happens. But when we read back the script, I naturally play all the female roles,
It's true.
and Ben plays all the male roles. And it's,
And we never talked about
we
it.
never never planned it.
That's
It's just
how it goes.
natural. Yeah.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happens.
I don't know, but he respects me,
Yeah,
and he
it's true.
opens the
Wow.
door for me.
I do.
And Ben, where can we find you?
Just my name and
Everywhere.
TikTok and Instagram and all that stuff.
Everybody's probably already following you anyway.
Oh, you're sweet.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for coming on the show. We hope you tune in next week to Alicyn's Wonderland, and make sure you subscribe if you are enjoying the show. Go ahead and tell a friend because that's how the word spreads.
Hey, Arnie,
So-
Alicyn has a podcast.
Whoa!
See, I did it.
See, it works. Thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.